It's time to talk Tiger football on the flagship station of the Fighting Tigers of LSU, Eagle 98.1, and worldwide on eagle981.com.
Fast and fearless, baby, here we go!
The Tiger Zone, powered by L'Auberge Casino and Hotel Baton Rouge. Get your calls in now at 225-499-9898. The Tiger Zone starts now, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. Here's Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill.
Welcome in. It's the Tiger Zone, presented by L'Auberge Casino. I am Hunt Palmer, joined by Jeremy Hill. It's game week.
Oh, yeah, it's here. It's
We
finally
made
here.
it. We made it. It is game week. Tigers open the 2021 season against the UCLA Bruins out in Pasadena, California. Of course, a lot to get to on the home front and talk about what this impact of the storm has been for LSU, but certainly a lot of football over the next 2 hours. We're with you from 8 to 10 every single Wednesday, and we're taking your phone calls. 499-9898 is the number to call. You've got a question, you've got a comment. Let's hear from you. I know a lot of people around this part of the world are cooped up in hotel rooms outside their home. They're in their car, charging their phone because the power's out at home. I get the whole situation. If we can bring you 2 hours of football talk, we're here to do it, and the Tiger Zone is on. So, Jeremy, how we doing this evening?
I'm doing great, man. It's finally game week. We've been waiting all summer for this. It's finally here.
We certainly have, and the Tigers are out in Houston. You heard on the Ed Ogeron show that immediately preceded us that he is over in Houston with the Tigers. They've been there now for the better part of 4 days. The team took multiple buses from Baton Rouge over to Houston. It was an overnight trip, took almost 10 hours, but they made it there. And they have been able to practice at NRG Stadium, use the Texans facilities. They've been put up in a nice hotel room. They've got soft beds, air conditioning, great meals, plenty of facilities to get ready for this game. So they'll be ready to fly out of town here pretty shortly. They'll have a walkthrough in the Rose Bowl on Friday, and they'll get ready to kick it off over there on Saturday. I think the first thing that people have brought up when we talk about the football aspect of this is how the players will handle the fact that this state is in the state that it is over the last 72 hours. And you think about players like Mason Smith from down in Homa, Andre Anthony, who's a New Orleans guy, John Emery near Laplace, where things were so bad over there. The players have been able to reach out to their families. It appears that everyone is safe and sound, and some in better situations than others, but everybody's okay, and the players have been able to focus. Look, it's very difficult to lock in on a football game when mom and grandma and dad and your aunt and your sister and your brother and everybody's, you can't keep track of them. People are displaced and people are uncomfortable. We get that. It's hard to focus on something as trivial as a football game. But it appears they've been able to kind of turn that page, and I think the guys are ready to go.
Yeah, most definitely. And I kind of want to make an announcement real quick. If you are in the Laplace area, the New Wine Christian Fellowship Church, the address is 1929 Airline Highway. It's in Laplace. They're giving out supplies if you need water, paper towels, tissues, just hygiene items. I know Laplace got hit really hard, so if you're in that area, they can definitely take care of you. And I know there's a ton of players from that area from the team, so it's just a tough time for everyone in this area. We're just hoping everyone recovers and get everything back.
So, when they move over to Houston, you kind of start looking at this and you're going, okay, what is this going to do to the team's focus? And you and I were talking on the Daily Show, and I kind of had a thought you would know much better than I, as being a former player, is that, man, camp gets old. It gets old, it gets old, it gets old. You wake up early in your apartment, you head to the facility, you go lift weights, you run, you practice, you have meetings, you're with the same guys over and over again. Your days seem to repeat themselves. It's hot. It's just not a lot of fun once you get that initial juice out of getting out there. At the end of camp, right there at the end, these guys get to hop a bus, albeit it was a long bus ride. They get to go stay in a nice hotel at an NFL facility and lock in to play this football game. And you've seen Ed Ogeron compare it to playing in a bowl game. And, that's kind of what it's been. It's been a week in nice accommodations, getting ready to play a game. This one probably matters a little bit more than some bowl games you play in, being that it's a regular season game. But I think it's probably a welcome reprieve for these guys. You've been through camps. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. It's definitely a great change-up, and I'm sure the players must much rather be in a hotel than out of power around Baton Rouge. And I think Coach O's done a great job just locking in and really continuing what they've been doing all training camp. They've had a different type of focus. I think Coach Johnson said it earlier today. You can just feel it at practice, and I think they're going to continue that in Houston and work their way to California with it as well.
You said they'd rather be here than without power. Well, wait a second. I've lived in a dorm with power. I've lived in a college apartment with power, and none of that was very good either. The hotel they're in, I guarantee you, is a lot better than that. So I think it's been a pretty good week. I want to get to the news of the day. Ed Ogeron has spoken with Chris Blair now on the Ed Ogeron show. He's had his meeting with the media on an SEC conference call, and he's talked about some injuries. And so I want to get first to the good news, the guys that look to be back and look to be healthy, and we'll get your thoughts on their impact on this thing. Derek Stingley, back. Eli Ricks, back. We'll start there.
Yeah.
Pretty good two pillars of a defense to have back after missing a sizable portion of camp.
Yeah. I know we were all worried about Sting. You know, his dad said it best. He's going to be out there. We had a game today. He'd be out there. You got to take his word, take the man's word for it. And he's out there, man. It's just great news for Tiger fans. And like I said earlier, man, you march those two corners on the outside. You're feeling really good about yourselves. And I know Coach Jones is feeling good.
So I think that's the most important thing, those two guys back. Cordell Flott in that position. Remember when they had a scrimmage a couple weeks ago, there were no DBs left.
Yeah.
It was just a wasteland in the defensive backfield. Stingley, Ricks, Flott, all back. On the offensive side, I think two key things, specifically one very key thing, Chasen Hines has returned to practice. He's been pretty banged up over the last couple of weeks, missing a lot of practice, has had a no-contact jersey on. He's back. Ed Ogeron says he's ready to go. Now, that remains to be seen actually on Saturday, but it sounds like Chasen Hines ready to be plugged back in at that right guard spot.
Yeah, and that's been our concern all year. If anyone had a concern about this offense, it'd be they start with the offensive line, and getting Chasen back is a huge piece because if he goes down, we already know we got Bradford, then it's pretty thin after that.
Yep.
So putting him back in that starting lineup, definitely, you feel a lot more stronger about it, a guy with a veteran presence. And I'm excited to see him get out there and play. I know he's excited. He's been banged up, so he's excited to hit someone else.
You mentioned Bradford. He becomes the swing guy again if Hines can come back, and that makes you feel a little bit better because you figure somebody's going to go down here or there for a play. Hopefully not much more, but if they do, you've got a guy that you can plug in. Garrett Dellinger, who's was been very banged up. I think his arm was in a sling as of a couple of weeks ago. He's back out there. He's practicing. That's a guy that we saw early in camp was working at one of the tackle spots. We've seen Bradford work at tackle. I think they've decided, maybe not, maybe a guard. That's a big man to be out there playing tackle. I think they may think guard may be a better spot for him. So Dellinger has worked at some tackle. I don't want Deculus out and Dellinger in. I don't want Cam Wire out and Dellinger in, but he's a guy they trusted enough to put towards the front of the line early in camp. He looks to be back and maybe ready to go.
Yep, you got your guard swinger and you got your guard swing in Bradford, and Dellinger looks like he's going to be the swing tackle, and that's what they've been working on all camp. He's been the guy that I've seen get most of the twos rep when anyone kind of goes out of that once. He's the first guy to step in there when he's healthy, so I'm sure they've got more than confidence in the world in him to really be that guy. If someone goes down, unfortunately, he can step up and contribute.
499-9898 is the number to call. Going through the news of the day, you give us a call here on the Tiger Zone presented by LeBears. We'll give you an answer right there. Armani Goodwin is hurt. Coach Ogeron mentioned that a little bit earlier. We'll get into the guys who are going to miss this game. Armani Goodwin obviously has had a great camp. You've been really impressed by him. Speed back, smaller guy, but a home run hitter, a guy that they can get to the edge, get to the perimeter. He is going to be out for a little bit, specifically this game. How bad does that hurt LSU in game one?
I don't think it hurts us too bad. Obviously, would have loved to see him out there, get his feet wet, really, show him what college football is like. It's a big level difference from high school, obviously, and obviously to start the year. But I think we'll be fine, obviously, with the leadership of TDP and John Emery. I think those guys are more than ready and willing to go out there and really, change the run game from what it was last year. So we got the veteran guys out there. I don't think it'll hurt us too bad.
We know Glenn Logan is hurt. We've spoken about that on the Daily Show extensively, and we mentioned it last week. He's going to be out for a fairly significant point of the season. So they've got the depth on the defensive front. Missed our interview earlier on the Daily Show with Bill Johnson. He talked about the depth. And they basically said, look, if we got them, we're playing them. And that tells me they've got probably 9 guys on the defensive front that they feel confident to put out there. Yes, you want to have Glenn Logan, who's a starter on the 2019 team that was a national champion, obviously, but going to be missing him. You've got a little bit of depth there. The worst news of the day, clearly, and I buried the lead here very obviously, is that Malik Neighbors, the star freshman wide receiver who has exploded on camp. Everybody that goes out to see him in the scrimmages, that goes to see him in practice and one-on-ones and workouts, he's wowed everybody. He's out, and he's probably going to be out about a month. That's really disappointing news, Jeremy.
Yeah, super disappointing news. I was excited to really see it translate to games on Saturday. I know that's the reason we go out to all these scrimmages and go to all these practices where we're building up to something, and Malik was doing such a phenomenal job building up and priming himself to really have a breakout freshman year. It's just tough news, but obviously all the depth in that room, I don't think it'll hurt us that bad, but I'm excited to really see Malik out there on game days.
Next man up on that position, I don't know how close to the top Malik Neighbors was. Ed Ogeron said, and Mickey Joseph has said this, not like, and behind closed doors. This has been write this, print this, source me on this, quote me on this. We're playing 9 wide receivers. When you say that and you lose one of them, it doesn't sound like the worst thing that ever happened. And Keyshawn Butte is still out there, and John Trey Kirkland's still out there, and Jeray Jenkins is still out there, Trey Palmer's still out there, and Devontae Lee's still out there. And then you've got now 3 more freshmen that you really think you can count on that have flashed at camp. It's just disappointing that a guy that everyone's been talking about, I mean, it was going to make us look smart. I mean, it make us look like we knew what we were talking about. Y'all need to watch this 8 guy. I think he can really go. Now we're not going to be able to see him for a while, and you really wanted to see him out there in some of these cupcake games where he can get his feet under him and really get moving forward.
Yeah, that you got to think about what he's going against every day at practice. Obviously, Sting hasn't been out there. When you're going against Rick and he's going right at those dudes' heads every play, he's running his mouth, and he has all the confidence in the world. You got to think he's licking his chop when he's going to go against some of these teams we have early on in the schedule. So it's just a boomer right now, but I'm sure everything, Jack and him in the training room, they're going to do a great job getting him back to health, and he's definitely got to make some plays this year.
Got some questions coming in the YouTube chat from Stephen Miller. We'll get to those. We'll take your calls. 499-9898 is the number to call. This is the Tiger Zone presented by LeBear's in Baton Rouge.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Welcome back. We've missed you. We know it's been tough. Because rebuilding your business isn't for the faint of heart. Your business needs a jump start. And we're here to help. Introducing Surge, symmetrical speed fiber internet from eTel Business. Revved up data speeds at 30% off, plus 3 months free. We're glad you're back, and we're here to make your business surge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
for you. They have a mattress that fits any size budget. Mitch Kimball, his wife Kathy, their daughter Janie, they make it happen at both locations, and they can make it happen for you. And they have some great things going on in July, including 12 months interest-free financing available for some people. You can go and check that out. And if you have kids that are going to need a mattress for college when that happens next month, then you definitely need to go see BR Mattress Outlet and get one that's awesome for them and for their back, but is better for your bank account. Mitch always says, don't pay too much for your mattress. Go to BR Mattress Outlet, and the website is brmattressoutlet.com.
Eagle 98.1.
Tiger Zone presented by LeBear's Baton Rouge. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill with you till 10 o'clock. 499-9898 is the number to call. You can also drop by the YouTube chat. Give us some questions there. Stephen Miller on the road to Houston giving us some questions. Says, ask us, had UCLA not played against the Sisters of the Poor last weekend, would there be less hype around this UCLA team? Jeremy, I'll toss you that question because that's what we were going to talk about in this segment anyway, is UCLA and Hawaii. I don't know if they'll appreciate that terminology and the nickname, but the question remains. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not going to disrespect them that bad. They're still a head coach by Chip Kelly. He's won a lot of college football games. But yeah, I think if they beat someone, obviously a ranked opponent, the sunshine and rainbows be through the roof right now. So he may have a point. Yeah, we really didn't learn much from that first game, I'd say, to answer his question.
I thought we could take some stuff from it. Look, I think if Hawaii would have won the line of scrimmage on them, I think that would have been a huge red flag. And UCLA absolutely owned the line of scrimmage from start to finish in that game. They ran the ball for whatever they wanted to, whenever they wanted to. On defense, they were incredibly physical. They got a pass rush on Hawaii. They won the line of scrimmage, which is what you're supposed to do. That's the biggest discrepancy from the Group of Five to the Power Five is the line of scrimmage. Group of Five's got plenty of running backs that can bust it free. They got speed on the outside. They got some corners. Every once in a while, they'll have a quarterback who can really play. The line of scrimmage is where they get beaten. They did. So UCLA proved, okay, we're a class above that, which is what you would expect to see. And I thought the running game was really impressive. This is a UCLA team that offensively was good last year. They averaged 34 a game. They scored 35-plus in all but 2 games, and in those 2 they didn't. They won. But they were good on offense with Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and they got the offensive line back, and then they bring Charbonnet in from Michigan, the transfer who ran very, very physically and ran it well. They've got pieces on offense, and I thought some of it flashed on the ground specifically on Saturday.
Yeah, that's the one thing I did take from the game, that they want to get the run game going. And if we want to have any chance of stopping UCLA, we got to get our big boys in the trenches to stop that run and don't give those guys those big old lanes to run through like they had last Saturday. And they're getting so disrespectful in the chat. Someone said Bishop Sycamore is better than Hawaii. Like, guys, come on. They're -3 right now. We got to put some respect on the Bruins.
I mean, and so to continue on with what we saw in the game for UCLA, look, Dorian Thompson-Robinson was 2 out of 7, and the score was 24-3. That's what we're talking about. We've got a block punt later in the game. They're forcing turnovers, and UCLA is just running the ball. And they asked Chip Kelly about, why didn't you try to throw it a little bit more? Thompson-Robinson finishes 10 out of 20, which was not all that impressive, for 122 yards. And he just flatly looked at the press and said, look, we were running it for 10 yards a carry, and then we'd run it again for 10 yards a carry, and then no one wanted to get on the headset and say, hey, let's try to throw one, because we just ran it again for 10 more yards a carry. So that makes all the sense in the world. Look, you played for a guy who felt the exact same way. You've been in that huddle before.
Yeah, exactly. If it's not broke, don't fix it. That old adage is never going anywhere. And that's what UCLA did last week. That's no shocker to me. I expected them to go out there, try to get established a run game, and they did that against the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. So let's see what they do against the Tigers. I don't think they'll average 10 yards a carry this Saturday.
I would sincerely hope not. That will be a serious problem if that's the case. Now, you flip to the passing game for UCLA, and as I mentioned, Thompson-Robinson was inaccurate, was a little bit disjointed. There was no rhythm to the passing game. They ran some 4 verts late, and they hit the one big pass play that kind of padded the stats a little bit, but it was shaky at best. Now, that doesn't mean that Dorian Thompson-Robinson can't do it. He is a 4-year starter who has thrown for a lot of yards at UCLA. He's gotten into some shootouts, specifically one 2 years ago with Washington State, where he threw for well over 400 yards. He's gotten he's thrown it around a little bit in his day. It was not on Saturday. Now, what did you see from their passing game?
Yeah, I saw guys really just not in rhythm. That's really what all the passing game is, pitch and catch it, and they really didn't have that. And when you watch the passing game, it should look easy, and it looked very hard for them to really establish their passing game. They really didn't need to. They weren't third and longs all day. They were running the ball when they needed to. But I know Saturday, if they're going to want to win this football game, we're going to have 8 guys in the box and down and down and down. So they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit, a lot more than they did last Saturday. And I like the matchups that we have at cornerbacks against their receivers.
I definitely do too. We referenced an article on our daily show today that was written by the group that covers UCLA for 247, and they went back and rewatched the game, charted every play, charted every formation, and did really a deep dive on what UCLA showed. And the results were a little startling to me. They were in 11 personnel, which is 3 wide receivers, 1 back, and 1 tight end, and the tight end was split away from the line every snap. Not most of them, all of them. They never went 4 wides. They never put 2 backs. They never went 2 tights. They never went heavy. They never went empty backfield one time. Every single play they ran with the same personnel group on the field. They never shifted pre-snap once. They ran limited motions. This was as vanilla a game plan as you will see. And that brings back the discussion that we had, which is, does LSU gain more from watching, or does UCLA gain more from playing? And you've been on the side where it as a player where it helps to watch and to see what they've got. But does it help you that much if they don't show you anything?
Yeah, I think there's, like I said, we learned a little bit from that game. It's really not, if they were to play a conference team, a tough opponent, and they have to really bring out their plays, you would have learned a lot more. Obviously, that opponent really didn't really stretch them out at all defensively or offensively. They could keep it vanilla. But what we did learn, especially as LSU fans, is that they're going to run the ball. And if we want to beat them, we're going to have to stop that run game. Not saying that their quarterback can't throw it, but that's not what they're going to want to do. They're not going to want to throw at Sting. They're not going to want to throw at Riggs, and Flott is coming on, and obviously we know what Jay Ward can do. So we know what the game plan is, and I think that's what we learned as Tiger fans.
They didn't get the guys that we figured would be the key pieces to their offense going at all. And certainly one of those is Greg Dulcich, the big 6'5" tight end. They targeted him twice. He had 1 catch for 15 yards. He was basically a non-factor in what they were doing on offense. I think that probably changes on Saturday because that's a guy who was their leading pass catcher last year, and you figure that he'll come back and be that guy. At wide receiver, Kyle Phillips was their second leading catcher. He had 38 catches last year, kind of a mid-range guy. They don't have anybody who terrifies you stretching the field or is some 6'5", big body target on the outside at wide receiver. Dulcich kind of plays that in the middle of the field. But the point remains that nobody out there on the outside was really making many plays against Hawaii for them, and that probably bodes well for LSU on the outside.
Yeah, that's the first thing that I saw, especially watching the game. You said what they brought up on the screen, his stats for the first quarter, 2 for 7. And if you're an LSU defensive back, you're licking your chops because all you got to do is keep saying, D-line, hold them to third and long, hold them to third and long, and he's going to give us one. And that's what I see happening if they can't get their run game going. I really just don't see with our defensive line that we have coming after the passers, ears pinned back, knowing they're in a have-to-pass situation, and then the receivers against our defensive backs. I could be wrong, but I just think we bowl well in those situations. So if we stop the run, it could be a long day for the Bruins.
I wouldn't disagree at all. I think there were some things to like when you look at LSU and how they match up, and that's going to be our next segment we're talking about now, incorporating LSU's personnel into what we want to do offensively and what they want to do defensively. The number to call, 499-9898 in the 225 area code. I want to remind you about LeBaire, still trying to get the power situated and get back up to speed like the majority of the city over there, but they've got some awesome stuff going on. The seafood extravaganza every Friday and Saturday at the Bon Temps Buffet from 4 to 11 p.m., $35.95. You can get snow crab leg buy-up to $29, $30 per pound. Got to be 21 to enter at the Bon Temps Buffet every Friday and Saturday, the seafood extravaganza. This is the Tiger Zone. You're listening on Eagle 98.1.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Middle Relief, and after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at patientplusuc.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Eagle 98.1.
So Tiger Zone here on Eagle 98.1. I did this on the Daily Show, but want to do this again. I've seen a ton of linemen out there helping to restore power around the Baton Rouge area as I was driving around from here to work today and then going back to the house. And just appreciate everybody who's doing that. Jerry mentioned the church a little bit earlier. Everybody in the Cajun Navy who's gone down there to help and clean up, and those that are donating their time, their effort, their money. We really appreciate it. This is not our first rodeo. It will not be our last, but we always come back, and we're going to do that this time around. And I think everybody, especially the ones listening to this show, is excited that, you know what, we're going to settle down on Saturday evening, get somewhere where we can pay attention to the Tigers and they take the field, and that's something we can all gather around and get fired up about, because it's been an awful week, and certainly is continuing that direction. But things are going to get better. We'll turn it around, and the Tigers will take the field this Saturday, 7:30 our time. I'll be on the air at 5:30 for the pregame show on the network. You can catch that wherever the affiliate is in your area. And it'll be myself, Marlon Favorite, and Garrett Brumfield coming to you from Cards and Culture 2 hours before kickoff, and then we'll be on the post game 30 minutes after the game ends. So very, very much looking forward to getting ready for a game day here on a Saturday. So let's talk about how the Tigers match up with this Bruins team. Look, we mentioned the run game first. That's really, to me, I'm trying to break this down from every angle, and we'll continue to get into it, but it really, really starts with the run game for UCLA because that's what Chip Kelly's always wanted to do. Everyone knows that they scored 1 million points when he was at UCLA, when he was at Oregon. Yeah, they did, and they were running it down people's throats. LaMichael James, LeGarrette Blount, they were going for 1 million. DeAnthony Thomas, they were running and running, and they were running for 400 yards on people. It was not an aerial assault behind the quarterbacks that they had over there. Your Dennis Dixon's, and I think he was right before that. That's not. They were trying to run the football, and that's what they're going to try to do on Saturday night behind this offensive line that's big and veteran, and with these two running backs and a quarterback that's very mobile. So let's talk about LSU's front seven and kind of what you expect to see from those guys.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about playing a team like this is they're not going to trick you with any of their run stuff. It's going to be read option, read option, read option. They're going to run that inside zone, and they're going to run a stretch off of it, and you know what's coming, and that's a great thing to prepare for. It's just going to be a battle in the trenches. They're not going to trick you. If we hold our gaps and our linebackers play fast, we can shut down this run game, and we're going to have 8 guys in the box down after down after down and challenge these receivers. So I love the game plan right now. I think if we can continue to keep those 8 guys in the box, really make them have to pass the ball, I think it definitely favors us in this football game.
Let's talk personnel. I believe in going out to practice, seeing the rotation, seeing who's out there going through the drills first and who's out there with the ones. I believe the first defensive front on the outside will be Anthony and Gay, and on the inside will be Farrell and Joe Evans is what I believe to be the first 4 out there. When I say those names, what do you think?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I was going to say Roy. I thought 94 would be in there, but I could see that lineup going out there. Gay on the outside, Anthony on the other one, and Farrell as well. And I love that 4, and I think you already know who's coming first at D tackle off the bench. I can't wait to really see him come out there and rush the passer. Big Mason Smith, he's going to be in that rotation early. How much he plays, I'm not sure, but I definitely like that 4 you name. I think that's a good 4 to run out there with.
Yeah, and I think Roy and Smith are the next 2 up, and then obviously they feel good with Ojulari playing on one of the edges as well. But I look, Ali Gay and Andre Anthony have made their money at LSU rushing the passer. Anthony's been around a lot longer, and then Gay with his flashes last year. Those guys have got to be strong against the run this time around. And look, that's the whole thing on that read option deal is those ends being where they're supposed to be and everybody being in their gap. I don't have to be a football savant. Yeah. Certainly I am not in terms of dealing with X's and O's and scheme, but I know that when a veteran quarterback and some good running backs and a veteran offensive line are running that read option, their eyes are looking for somebody to go the wrong way. And the good news is that Anthony has been here at LSU since Abe Lincoln was in the White House, and Ali Gay is a senior, and Neil Farrell has been here since John Adams was in the White House. And then obviously you feel like Joseph Evans is made his move to the front. So these are guys who should know where to be. It's not a young group.
Yeah. This is one of the more easy offenses, and this offense is designed to put your athletes in open space and see what they can do. They're going to be leaving some of these defensive end who are true athletes, in my opinion, unblocked. And it's up to them to make a play. Either they take the running back or they take the quarterback. But to put these elite athletes in open space time and time again, somebody's going to make a play, and that's what LSU's banking on. I think we have just the guys to do it. I would love to see Ali Gay in open field with Dorian Thompson-Robinson and Ojulari. I don't think he can outrun either one of those guys. So I think the read option is definitely playing right into our favor.
Linebacker, first 2 guys.
I'm going to go – oh, man, you're going to be shocked by this one, but I'm going to go – Damone Clark and Jared Small, the 2 they run out there first.
I was asked, I did a Shreveport show earlier today, and they said, give me the starting lineup. And I went through, and I put Jared Small in there. Yeah. I'm almost certain Damone Clark's going to be in there. And so that's one. And the other one is just going to rotate early. I think Jared Small is probably the guy. Would it shock me at all if Micah Baskerville went out there against a run-heavy team trying to go between the tackles? No, and I would probably like that better, to be quite honest with you. But either one is going to be out there to stop the run. I don't think this is a Mike Jones game. To this point in his career, I don't think he's ready for this type of offense that's got big physical offensive linemen and is going to run it between the tackles a ton. Maybe he gets there. Maybe I just don't know if this is the time. And I think Bug Strong can play right now in this spot. But I think you're right. I think Clark and Small are probably the first 2 guys. I'd prefer Baskerville out there. They're all going to play. Yeah. And the point is that those guys have got to be in their gaps and doing things the right way. And you said it perfectly. They got to win first down. If you win first down and get them behind the sticks, LSU's pass rushers can take over. And all we've heard, all camp, is how LSU can't block these pass rushers. They're all over the place. It's Anthony, it's Gay, it's Ojulari. They've been unbelievable in the interior. We know Roy can get after it a little bit. We think Mason Smith's a pass rusher. If we can get him to 3rd and 8, 3rd and 11, that's advantage city for LSU. And really, that's where Durante Jones can kind of pick whatever he wants at that point. But they've got to win those first and second downs, and it's going to come from those front 7 and then whatever they decide to do with Jay Ward moving around in the box.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think it's really just UCLA. You can't really say that with every team. If you get us in 3rd and long, LSU, that is, I'm sorry, I can't even talk right now. If you get LSU in 3rd and long for that matter, I have confidence that he can convert to Kayshon Boutte. I have confidence he can give one of these young receivers a jump ball. I have confidence Max can use his legs as well and convert a long 3rd down. So I think, but it goes reverse to them. I don't think they can. I think RDBs match up in open space very well with their receivers. I don't think any of these receivers are going to be drafted high in the draft. I could be wrong. They could prove me wrong, but I just think we have the matchup there.
It doesn't appear that way right now. It doesn't appear that they've got exceptional playmakers on the outside. They have nobody on the roster that's been a playmaker, and it doesn't look anybody that's about to break out based on last week. And that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying they better win the line of scrimmage. They did. By the same token, you ought to assert yourself on the outside as well. They were not able to do that against a Hawaii defense that was terrible last year and has some guys back from that. So I think on the defensive side, you've kind of licked it. If LSU can get them into 3rd down, there are some schools that LSU's going to play this year where 3rd down may not mean a whole lot. I think Alabama's going to be just fine on 3rd down with Bryce Young. They got Mechie and everybody out there. I think Matt Corral can make some plays on 3rd down. I don't think that's necessarily you got to play all 3 here. I don't believe Dorian Thompson-Robinson is going to continuously beat LSU on 3rd and 8. Now, he may some because he's a veteran player who's played a little bit. The question is now, when you talk about him on 3rd down, if you get into a 3rd and 6 type situation, he can hurt you with his legs. And he's quick. He runs pretty well. He's not, Cam Newton in terms of his size. He's not Tebow with his power. He didn't run it like Lamar Jackson, but he's plenty good with his feet. So the question is, how do you deal with that if you're LSU? I know that you played for a team where John Chavis said, look, we're not dealing with this Manziel kid. We're going to stand right here and let him stand back there, and when he starts running, we're going to start chasing him. And that's how he handled him for 2 years. Thompson-Robinson cut from that cloth where he can hurt you on 3rd and 6. He can go get you 8 if he needs it.
Yeah, that's what I was one of my keys that I wanted to learn from the game is how much does he use his legs. He really didn't use his legs that much in the first game. He didn't have to. I mean, you run the ball for 10 to carry. Yeah. No need to run the ball on 3rd and long, but I think that's something that we're going to have to stay disciplined as, especially as a defense. You're going to have to be disciplining your rush lanes and the linebackers. I don't know if we're going to spy. This defense really doesn't have spies in it. It's really up to the defensive line to hold their gap. So we'll see. They may have that game plan, but I think we can definitely contain this guy. I think we got the athletes. I don't think he's going to outrun some of these guys we have on the defense.
That's the point. LSU's really fast, and they should be able to run him down. I don't worry about him going for 40. I worry about him continuing to get 6 on 3rd and 4. That's what drives everyone nuts, and it can be so frustrating when you think you've played a good defensive play, you think you've played a good defensive series, you're going to get off the field, and then he wiggles out, and then there's nobody there because you're in man. Unless he wants to play man, and now you got one guy, and he gets the corner on him, and you've got a first down. That's the stuff that can be really, really frustrating. But obviously, I think LSU's probably ready for this. We'll take another time out here on the Tiger Zone. 499-9898 if you got a question for us. LSU, SEC related, recruiting related, we're happy to take whatever you got here on the Tiger Zone presented by LeBears. When we come back, talk a little bit about this Fighting Tiger offense against what was an impressive UCLA defense, albeit against Hawaii. That's next on the Tiger Zone presented by LeBears on Eagle 98.1.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, We've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Dad, just one more story?
For nights like this, try Vicks Pure Z's Kids. Our great tasting gummies are specially formulated for kids with a unique blend of botanicals and a low dose of melatonin to support their natural sleep cycle. Best of all, they're drug-free and non-habit forming. Help your child fall asleep naturally with Pure Z's Kids Gummies. Consult with a doctor before use. For ages 4 and up.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Eagle 98.1.
It's a Tiger Zone presented by LeBear's Baton Rouge on Eagle 98.1 every Wednesday after the Ed Ogeron Show from 8 to 10. Jeremy Hill and myself, Hunt Palmer, will be with you taking your calls. 499-9898 is the number to call in the 225 area code, or you can jump in the YouTube chat where those guys are cutting up over there, having some fun. You can ask them some questions in there. Piggyback into the last segment, and then we'll move to the LSU offense here. Nookie asks, what are some key tells you're looking for to see that the defense is on the right track? Okay, I was going to answer, and then I was going to preface my answer by saying, look, I'm not exactly an X and O genius, and I'm going to give you something really obvious. Before I do something stupid and say something dumb, I'll let the guy who actually played football say, what would be something that you would see in the first 2 drives where you go, okay, I think I like where we are on defense?
When they run their first trick play, are we – no, that's serious. I'm serious. When they run their first trick play, which I think Chip Kelly will do because we're a fast defense, we want to try some misdirection. If they stay home, they stay to their keys – it's going to be a long day for UCLA. That means no one's getting excited by the ball. We're staying to our assignments, and guys are doing what they're supposed to do. That's something that I always look for. If you gash them on a big trick play early on to start the game, it normally has defenses get rattled, and then you can do all type of stuff off of that stuff. So I think that's something I'll be looking for because I know Chip Kelly has something up his sleeve after this vanilla game he just called.
You know what I always think of when I think of that? because he never looked smooth and cool. I use air quotes on the field.
Yeah.
He just always did what he was supposed to do, and he was an all-conference player because of it. Sam Montgomery.
Yeah.
When you would watch him, he was so exaggerated holding the edge on that read option when he would move down the line. He looked like he was literally doing the cone drills.
Yeah.
And that's not, I mean it as positive as I could possibly be. He knew what he was supposed to do, and he wasn't going to not do it. That was Sam. He was kind of robotic in that way, and that's kind of, and that defense was always in the right spot.
Yeah.
So that was fun. For me, this is really simplistic, and I realize that you can't take anything from it X's and O's. I just want to see when Dorian Thompson-Robinson takes the shotgun snap and gives that read option, that the running back runs and can't hit the hole with a full head of steam. He's got to. We're there, and he's got to try to cut or look somewhere in the line of scrimmage. Kind of backs up. The great LSU defenses, teams have just run into their linemen's back, and that's so obvious. And I'm very aware that I'm not breaking any news to anyone here, that I'm not exactly rewriting the rules of football. But what's the problem when, like Ole Miss a couple years ago, they hit the hole going 500 miles an hour and there's nobody there. And I don't know, I couldn't tell you who was definitely supposed to be there, but somebody's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a tell and you're an idiot like me and you just need that information, that's what I'm looking for. Jeremy's a little more fundamentally sound in that way.
Yeah, or you can just go watch LSU versus Oregon in 2011 and watch how they stopped that run. The guys were coming from, I remember Barkevius Mingo made a sensational play from the backside, and you can change it up as a defensive coordinator. You can tell the ends, hey, don't worry about the quarterback. If they run read option, go get the running back, go get the running back. We have a linebacker for the quarterback, and then you can just play with them that way. There's so many things you can do as a defense when you have athletes to really slow down that read option. It's really, really not that complicated. It's really not that hard to stop. If it was, Oregon probably be 3-time national champs.
Yep. So let's move sides of the ball. LSU offense. Jake Peetz, his first time calling plays under the gun. He's got his brain trust. DJ Mangus is back with him. Of course, George Munoz is back in the building for LSU. Steve Ensminger still there. That's the brain trust that's going to push this offense forward into this game. Max Johnson is the leader and the quarterback. By the way, just incidentally, if anybody was looking at LSU's Twitter account yesterday, there was a picture from practice of Garrett Nussmeier and Max Johnson bumping shoulders on a jump deal, where just a celebration type deal. Garrett Nussmeier is a really good athlete, really good athlete.
Yeah.
Max has him out jumped by 9 inches. He's not Lamar Jackson again. He's not Cam Newton, but he is a good athlete. I looked at that vertical and I went, whoa.
Yeah. He's a definitely an underrated athlete. That's something I saw. It's weird that you see how big and how tall he is, how filled out he is, but he can run. A guy that big, not supposed to be limber like that and be able to run. I'm not saying like you said, he's Cam Newton or Lamar Jackson, but if those D tackles and ends are coming at him, he can make his way around them, and definitely he keeps his eyes downfield and he makes big boy throws. So I'm excited to see Max march out there. He's definitely the leader of this team. I know he's excited to really pick up where he left off.
Strength of this defense for UCLA is in the middle and it's up front. They're fine on the outside, but they were hurt a little bit on the outside last year. These are not pro corners and safeties to this point. They do have some pros on the interior defensive front and at linebacker. So that's really the matchup. What's been our concern all fall, all summer, all spring, LSU offensive line. What we know from Ed Ogeron is that the offensive line is healthy. Cam Wire's been inserted at left tackle. He's ready to go. Ed Ingram's had a really nice camp. Liam Shanahan has had an excellent camp. And we'll see a lot of time missed for Chasen Hines, but he's played a ton of football. We'll see what he can do at the right tackle spot. And then Austin Deculus is, a stalwart there at the right tackle spot. If those guys play an A- game, I don't think UCLA can win. That's as plain as I can say it. If LSU's offensive line plays an A- game, Max has some time, and the running backs have – I'm not asking you to blow holes in the line like the 2011 team did on everybody. I'm just asking you to create some traction, move the line of scrimmage forward, and allow us into short third downs. On the edges, UCLA is not going to be able to deal with it. Max, I have no doubt, is going to be composed. I was asked on Shreveport Radio today, what are you not worried about? What are you just not worried about in the game? I said, I'm not worried about Max doing something stupid.
Yeah.
I'm really not worried about that. Mm-hmm. He may miss a guy on a 40-yard fly route because he's not the most accurate guy at this stage in his career, he's not going to do something stupid. And if he has time all day and he's not under duress or under pressure, he'll make enough plays to get his first downs and we'll go score. But to me, it all comes down to the offensive line. What about you?
Yeah, if you ask me that same question, I would go straight to Max. If there's some questions, or probably receiver, I say I'm not worried about these receivers. That's probably be what I probably say. But yes, if our offensive line can give us anything in the run game, it's going to be a long day for them. Just watching them against Hawaii, they shut down Hawaii's run game. Their run game had no shot, and then they were just licking their chops on third down, just coming after them. Guys coming off the edge, they could send whatever they wanted. If we can get the, like you said, third and shorts and get the run game going, I love our matchup on the outside. We can really toy with them and do what they want. And when they start inching those guys in the box, 8 in the box, 9 in the box, we got that big play action game. And you don't want to be leaving your cornerbacks one-on-one down the field with these big receivers. So it's going to be really with our offensive line. It's going to start with them. It's going to start in the trenches. We slow their defensive line down, and Max really can get calm and settle into the game. It's going to be a long day for the Bruins.
James Fortenberry's in the Bayou Ford chat, says, will Garrett Nussmeier get in the game? I don't believe so. That's not a package situation. You can't afford to do that when you've got two quarterbacks. You can't be throwing in packages for that kind of deal. And I also think it's going to limit a little bit of what they do with Max. Now this is not going to be as difficult as it was with Burrow.
Yeah.
But they had to sit in a room in a chair and say, hey, by the way, Miles can't play right now. He was hurt in 2018 and could not play. They said, you're it. You've got to start sliding. You've got to get down. You've got to get out of bounds. I know you want to get the extra 4 yards. We don't need the extra 4 yards. We need a quarterback. So you need to chill out with that. They can have that conversation with Max. I think it'll go a little bit easier. But no, I don't expect to see Nussmeier at all unless something happens to Max. You?
No, I don't. Unless it's some route and some blowout and we just totally dominate them, I don't see them putting them in there. I think you got to get Max out there, get him comfortable, get him, there's 10 receivers he has to throw the ball to. You want to get him, throwing the ball at all these guys and getting that rhythm, getting that confidence. So I would love to see him out there, but no, I don't think so.
Give me your receiver rotation.
What I think, or what I would want, or what I think.
No, what you think's going to happen.
What I think's going to happen. Okay, I think they're going to definitely try out their Kayshawn for sure, and I think Jure and Jontre. I think that's the three they go out there with, the older guys, the veteran guys, and Kayshawn, and really set the tone for the game and the season, and see what happens after.
Got a question in the chat a little bit earlier, and I'm going back to it, but they said, how big a drop-off is it from Malik to Brian Thomas? He said he thought there was none, and I don't think it's very big. They love Brian Thomas, and I think that he will play. I would prefer Neighbors be out there because I thought he was awesome, but Brian Thomas is ridiculous vertical, really good speed, and has caught the ball well in camp. So, yeah, I think that he'll be out there. To answer the question that I posed to you, certainly Butte. I think John Trey goes out there. I do think Jeray Jenkins goes out there, and I think as I go through the names in my head, it wouldn't shock me if Brian Thomas was next. And I think they're going to go out there with 4 wide receivers. Cole Taylor's going to play a good bit. We'll see what they do with Besh. I got a question coming later with him when we do some over-under stuff in the second hour. But I think there's a good chance Brian Thomas is out there early in the first quarter. That is my opinion. Now, Trey Palmer and Devontae Lee are older players. Maybe there's something. They've got a package somewhere in there. They want to get them early and maybe get them moving forward a little bit. But they're going to be 4 wides most of the game, and so they're going to have to rotate guys in and out for sure.
Yeah, I think Brian Thomas is probably the first young receiver that gets an opportunity to play, and I wouldn't be shocked if they have some jet sweep stuff with Trey Palmer, even some jet sweep stuff with Hilton. I think they can give him the ball in his hands quick and let him come around that edge. But I think you're hit it right on the nail in the coffin with that. Brian Thomas definitely probably should be the first young receiver. He has the second best camp, if you ask me.
499-9898 is the number to call. You can reach us. Here's the Tiger Zone presented by LeBears. I wanted to go through a couple of signing class things. We've now kind of gone through the entirety of this UCLA-LSU matchup, just personnel. But I was curious what these signing classes have looked like. And, Chip Kelly's never been an elite recruiter. He did a pretty good job of getting guys from the state of Texas to go to Oregon and certainly was able to dip into California. But you got a hook at Oregon with the Nike stuff, the uniforms, the Phil Knight stuff, the money. There's not really a hook at UCLA. The playing in the Rose Bowl should be a hook, but it's not because we saw the attendance last week. They have struggled a little bit. So here are the signing classes that they've had here in the last 4 years. This past year was 31 in the country. The year before that, 33. The year before that, 40. And the year before that, 19. So that averages to 30.7. And I did that math, and I looked at it and I went, okay, I wonder who is like that in the SEC. So the first team I did was Arkansas. And Arkansas is 25, 29, 23, 45. UCLA, 30.7. Arkansas, 30.5. How's that for guessing right on the nail on the head? So from a personnel standpoint, you're looking at something that looks similar to Arkansas. And I think that's probably fair. Like, it's not the Arkansas that goes 0-8. It's the Arkansas that's kind of got a pulse. And that's a team that LSU should beat, is a favorite over, even if they're coming off a 5-5 year. But has, in the past, Arkansas given LSU some trouble at times? Sure. So I think that's probably kind of close to where things sit.
Yeah, I would agree. If you look roster for roster, talent for talent, and I love the hindsight. I know you looked at recruiting class. I look at NFL guys, like how many guys got drafted from those teams, and that kind of lets you see if some team has 10 or 12 guys with NFL players, they're probably going to crush a team with 1 or 2. So that's normally what happens, and I think that's got to be right up the alley with this UCLA team. I'm sure if you look at Mel Kiper's big boy right now, probably not going to find a lot of Bruins on there. So I think that's where we are with it. I think we're obviously the more talented team. We've recruited way better for the last 4 years. It's really just up to us to go out there and execute. We got the matchups. I think you look at the receiver DBs. Obviously, the only one they probably have is D-line to our O-line, but I like all the other matchups we have.
Seems that way. We still got an hour to go here on the Tiger Zone presented by LeBears. You're going to call us. Give us a phone call at 499-9898 in the 225 area code. Jump in the Bayou Ford chat on YouTube. We're rolling here. It's the Tiger Zone on Eagle 98.1.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside, off the bench, middle relief, and after further review. Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
Eagle 98.1.
Can make us legends. After all that time, this is our time.
Tiger Zone, Eagle 98.1. That is never not going to fire me up. For anyone who doesn't recognize that Anthony Mackie and then that swag surfing, that's from the hype video that the boys put out before the Clemson National Championship game. The greatest piece of digital production in the history of the world. That was it. Just brings me back to that time when LSU was on that run, and I wrote this in a column that I wrote after it was all over. I said, watching the confetti fall and seeing O lift the trophy and seeing my dad and mom at the team hotel after, that was all absolutely awesome. But really the awesome part is the 4 months of just riding that wave. Yeah. And anyone can talk about anywhere you are is, what about the Tigers? I mean, they're just kicking everybody's ass. Like, it's just, there's nothing better than this town when that's the case. And that brings me back to that where all my buddies are fired up because they're coming down to New Orleans for the game and we're in the group text, and then they put that hype video out. And, I mean, you almost, like, have a tear come to you and you're just, like, ready to go through a wall. That was something.
Yeah, we got to feel that every week with some sort of highlight video. They do such a great job with everything they do as far as the video goes and the hype songs and the videos and then the tributes they give the players when they finish playing. The video guys at LSU do such a great job, and that video got me so hyped up. It still feels surreal that we actually got to experience that in New Orleans, right down the street from Baton Rouge. It's just magical, man.
It was quite good, quite good. Let's go on another ride. That's going to happen. You're going to have to go beat UCLA. I'm fascinated by the story that some of the columnists have written nationally, some of the opinions, and then some of the questions that have been asked of the coaches, specifically Chip Kelly. Look, it's not a secret. Chip Kelly's first 3 years in Westwood have been a bust. I mean, they've just been a bust. He had not won until Hawaii had not won a non-conference game. They had not won a season opener. You're talking about a 10-30 run, and it's just been a disaster. And this is the chance to get it right. And Dan Wetzel wrote a column for Yahoo earlier where he's saying, look, Chip Kelly's done everything fast as a coach. Fast tempo. He talks fast. He builds. In his second year at Oregon, they were in the national championship game. Everything's been fast. This UCLA rebuild has been exceptionally slow. It's been clunky. But this could be the team that figures it out. And look, I'm not like trying to be funny here. This would not happen in Baton Rouge, but it happens in Southern California at UCLA. They beat Hawaii and handled them, and he literally got a question from a sports writer over there that said, does this team feel special? They beat Hawaii. And they said, that's how bad this has been for 3 years. And the question is, can they do it? So this is a program-defining game for them. If he loses this game and putters out in the Pac-12 and gets dusted by USC and gets dusted by Oregon and they're non-competitive and don't make a bowl game, this experiment that everybody thought was a slam dunk for him going back to the West Coast and going to college might be over. This could be the beginning of the end or the actual beginning for Chip Kelly. I'll get to the LSU side of things, but it's from a UCLA perspective, it's interesting.
Yeah, I think for me as an LSU fan, I got really excited when I heard this is their Super Bowl. That's something that is, to me, I hate to say it, but it's quite pathetic that their second game of the year is your Super Bowl. It just goes to show, the success they've had over the years and what their aspirations are. I know you don't ever talk like that in Tiger Town. We don't care about the second game of the year. We want to get to Atlanta. We want to get to the college football playoffs. So it just goes to show you where the two programs are at this time in history. But if they win this game, it's definitely going to be a huge jump for Chip Kelly, and it may be his Super Bowl because obviously what they've done the past few years definitely not going to cut it.
I'll jump to an aside here. You were in the NFL the same time as Chip Kelly, right?
Yeah, for 1 year.
Did you hear anyone in the league talk about how that went in terms of player relations, in terms of respect for him coming in from Oregon? I mean, obviously, to me, it's just tough to leave what's such a great spot there at Oregon to make that jump, but it's what makes them so ambitious and such successful people. that he did it. It obviously didn't work out in the end, but what was the thought of what he was in the NFL?
Yeah, Chip Kelly had a lot of control. I'm not sure if he was a GM, but I'm pretty sure he was he had a lot of control of the team, and every guy that I've talked to, a lot of running backs, they did not like it. They did not like what he tried to do. It just normally never works when the college coaches try to tell millionaires what to do and boss them around and yell at them and do all these little things. It's a respect thing, and when you lose the respect, you lose the locker room, you lose the player. So I knew that NFL thing wasn't going to last long unless he just had some super quarterback come save him, but it just never works that way. It can work at the college level, but obviously if you don't have the talent and the roster that he was having at Oregon, at UCLA, you're not going to win a lot of football games, and that's what you've seen over the years.
Maybe LSU can throw the death knell in at Westwood. Now, from the other perspective, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about this. LSU, in Ed Ogeron's first year as a full-time coach, lost to Troy, got absolutely run off the field against Mississippi State. Well, they rebounded, and they played some nice games the rest of the way, but you go and you win a game, win a BCS game against UCF, then you have the year. But is it the year because of the program you built, or did you find one assistant and one quarterback and change the whole thing, and now it's over? Because you were 3-5 last year until you won 2 games late. That's the narrative nationally, whether you want to admit it down here or not. And if you go out there and you lose to UCLA, and then you go into conference play and you get beat by one of the Mississippi schools, and Alabama thumps you and A&M thumps you to prove they've passed you, all of a sudden things aren't the same they were at the end of 2019. So while we can talk about Chip Kelly, and this could be the beginning of the end for him, and LSU needs to go win this game for the Ed Ogeron, for Ed Ogeron's future, for the program. I'm not, under any circumstance, getting on these airwaves and saying if LSU loses to UCLA, Ed Ogeron is fired as the coach. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you need to use a Barrett Jones line, unfortunately, restore the order. Go out there and take care of it. Win a couple non-conference games. Beat the brakes off Mississippi State and say, hey, we're back. We had a year where half our team quit and everybody got drafted and there was COVID and we couldn't practice and there was nobody in the stands. But we're back. And you have to start here.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think the taste from last year is still in everyone's mouth. Everyone is not forgetting about last year. That's why we're ranked where we're ranked, and that's why the expectations are what the expectations are right now. But I'm telling you right now, if we win this first game and we win it in convincing fashion, I think the tide is definitely going to turn for Coach O and this football team, and you're going to start building and rolling. And especially we get a little favor these first few games of the year. We can start peaking and priming at the right time. And I think this UCLA is a perfect opportunity to get that start and get the confidence back in Tiger Nation. And we got the talent to do it. So I'm excited to see what they do.
In the BCS era, I absolutely hated these games. I hated them because essentially all you were trying to accomplish was to have the fewest losses at the end of the year. And if you had the fewest losses, you got in the BCS championship game. Adding losses was a far bigger deterrent to winning a championship than a crappy non-conference schedule. You could play at LSU or Alabama or Ohio State or USC at the time. You could play Western Kentucky, Rice, UAB, and North Texas and win those games. As long as you went and won your conference, you were fine for getting the BCS. But if you lost, ask Virginia Tech when they came here in 2007, ask West Virginia when they lost that game to LSU, Oregon in 2011, you are in big trouble. Because you've now gotten behind the 8 ball with a game that you didn't need to lose because you didn't need to put it on your schedule. I don't feel exactly the same way anymore because we're working off a subjective playoff system. I still think until they throw a 2-loss team in there that got beat, in overtime at the gun twice, and that they really just care what your wins and losses are. And before you talk about 2007 LSU, you needed some pretty ridiculous circumstances in that year to get there. But so I've come around on it a little bit, but the point of this whole runaround is that we've seen these games be springboards for LSU. We've seen 2007 beating the brakes off Virginia Tech be a springboard to a special team and really ended up helping them that year when the entire thing collapsed on itself at the end of the season and everybody lost. We've seen, obviously, 2011, the Oregon game, what that did for that team. Everybody knows what 3rd and 19 did against Texas a couple years ago. They can be springboards. Let's hope this is one.
Yep, that's what I just said. I definitely agree with that. I think you definitely want to start the season, especially going out there. Everyone's kind of pumping up UCLA. I think they're ranked now, and everyone's starting to feel good about the Bruins. I think it'd be a great thing for the Tigers to go out there and really set the tone for the season and really shut them down and really get a convincing win. I think especially after last year and having all the doubts that we have, the offensive line and everything like that. if you go out there and handle business, it's going to definitely peak you for the season. And we got a favorable schedule to start the year, so you can start getting your younger guys in there. You can start doing things as a coach that really peaks you for the real games that you're going to be facing during the season. So it's a big one for the Tigers.
Only been working together for 4 weeks, and you're already just coming right off my notes there, right where I wanted to head. I want to talk about this schedule. We've kind of dissected LSU, UCLA from just about every angle. If you've got any questions, any comments for us, 499-9898 is the number to call, and we will certainly take those. You can jump in the Bayou Ford chat as well. I do want to talk about the schedule for this LSU football team and how I believe it lays out. That's next on the Tiger Zone, presented by LeBear's Baton Rouge on Eagle 98.1.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Welcome back. We've missed you. We know it's been tough. Because rebuilding your business isn't for the faint of heart. Your business needs a jump start. And we're here to help. Introducing Surge, symmetrical speed fiber internet from eTel Business. Revved up data speeds at 30% off, plus 3 months free. We're glad you're back, and we're here to make your business surge.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
Eagle 98.1.
$100,000 Jaguar giveaway at LeBear's Baton Rouge. You can drive away in a brand new 2021 Jaguar F-Type Coupe. Additional prizes include a share of over $25,000 in free slot play. Join us, the grand finale, this Sunday, September 5th from 4 to 8. You can visit lbatonrouge.com for additional details. LeBear's our presenting sponsor here every Wednesday night on the Tiger Zone. We certainly appreciate them. Jeremy, I want to dive into this schedule, and I like it for a number of reasons. I'll lay them out. Look, a great experience for the team to go out and play in the Rose Bowl against UCLA. This is one of those non-conference games that I'm generally okay with playing because it's not Ohio State, it's not Clemson. You're putting a name brand on the schedule that you should handle. LSU handled Miami a couple of years ago. That's what they ought to do. They went to Atlanta, and it was way closer than it should have been, but they handled North Carolina. Oregon, that's a little more than I'd like to buy off in the Chip Kelly era. That was a lot, but they went out there and played really well and won it. I think that TCU was just fine to play, and LSU should have beaten Wisconsin both times. Actually, if you watch the game, Wisconsin should have beaten both, but really, the way the rosters were set up, LSU should have won both of those games. These are the types I like. They're games that you ought to win, but they're against name brands. So I like this one, and the experience of these guys to play in the Rose Bowl is fantastic. Then you come home, and you get well for 3 weeks, really, because you get a week after UCLA to McNeese, a week between McNeese and Central Michigan, and then a week before you open conference play. That's 3 weeks for anybody like Glenn Logan, like Malik Neighbors. If anybody gets mixed up in this game, for sure. We're not sure what the situation is with Armani Goodwin. You've got time, and then you can get some younger guys playing time. Get Garrett Nussmeier in some games just in case he's got to play. Look, I know everyone hates these body bag games with McNeese and Central Michigan. They hate ULM. They don't want to play any of it. I get it. But I like them because over the course of a football season, you're going to need some weeks off, and that's a good thing. What did you think about playing some of those games?
Oh, actually, me as a player, I loved it. We saw last year kind of what the roster was when you play all SEC schedule and the bodies we had to go into a game at the end of the season. You just get banged up, you get beat up. These are perfect opportunities to, not play in the second half, as we call them, stat games. These are games you got to get your stats up, got to board that stat sheet up, and it's great for the team. And I think especially for the younger guys on the roster, I know for me, especially for my career, I was not playing in that Washington game, and I got the chance to play in one of these games where you get routed. Otherwise, I was probably going to get redshirted. So these games are perfect opportunities to get younger guys on the rosters, opportunities to play, and I think it's good.
Get a couple of those in. Then you open conference play, and it's not Bama. It's not. It's you go to Mississippi State, and I was there. I watched the game last year. I get it, but you ought to be able to go to Mississippi State and win the football game. Period.
Yeah, I know the team definitely a bad taste in their mouth, especially after what Leach said. I forgot what he said after the game on the field, but he said bring on the Chiefs or something crazy like that. Just them storming the field like they just won the Super Bowl. It's the first game of the year, so I know we're definitely going to be licking our chops to go back there and definitely right those wrongs. So I'm excited for that first Mississippi State game.
Then you come home and play Auburn, who's got a first-year coach. If you're listening to the Daily Show at all, you know that neither one of us is really pumping Auburn all that much.
Yeah.
I don't see a ton with Auburn this year. So that's a home game. They haven't won here since 1999. Feel okay. Then you go on the road. If you'll notice, LSU never on back-to-back weeks travels. That's one of the things I like about this schedule. You go on the road to Kentucky. Now, Kentucky's a good football team. And it comes before Florida, who's a huge rivalry, and after Auburn. So you could call it a sandwich spot. Fact of the matter is you're more talented than Kentucky, too. And you should go up there and handle a ball game and win it at Kentucky. Then you come home and you play Florida, and that's a huge game. It's sandwiched around Kentucky and Ole Miss. But you play Florida, and that's a big game. Then the next week, you go on the road again to Ole Miss. There's a bye week after Ole Miss before Alabama. So you don't have Ole Miss, and you're already looking Bama, Bama, Bama. Now, I know that locker room always has Bama in the back of their head. So there's no perfect time. But to go on the road and play Ole Miss, and then you get a bye. And you need your bye before Alabama to give yourself a shot. You had Bama, you had a bye before Bama every time. I mean, how quickly do y'all start looking at Alabama on that bye week?
Oh, we start the week before. That whole week before, the week of the bye week, you get a couple practices in. It's all Bama. It's all just, the coaches kind of have an idea of what the game plan is going to be, and you kind of get some of those early ideas out the way and kind of get the team thinking how we're going to attack these guys. And then the next week you really lock in onto the game plan, and you put some more stuff in that you think may work, and you take some stuff out that you don't really think is going to really hit big in that game. And so that bye week is always huge going into a Bama game. I'm unfortunately never beat Alabama as a LSU Tiger, but that bye week definitely is beneficial for the team.
And then I know after Alabama there can be a letdown. But if I'm going to have a letdown playing Alabama, I'd like it to be in my stadium, in front of my crowd, against the least talented team on the schedule in the league. That's Arkansas. I can't really ask for anything more after Bama. For me to go play at Bama on the road and then come back and play Florida on the road, or to come back and play Texas A&M, like that would be really tough to get right back off the mat. That's as good as I can do after Alabama is to play Arkansas. Then I get a buffer before the Texas A&M game. That's ULM on the 20th, and then that following week we play A&M. So I got a bye before Bama. I got the least talented team in the league after Bama. I've got a ULM game before Texas A&M, who's the second most important game on the schedule. I never go on the road back-to-back. I've got a couple of games after my big high-profile opener against a team that I should beat because I'm more talented than. Look, I can sit here and tell you that there's a massive 4-week run in the middle of the schedule that's not A&M or Alabama, where you go home Auburn, at Kentucky, home Florida, at Ole Miss. Yeah, it's the SEC. You don't. Yeah. There's no gimmies. Fact of the matter is, I don't think Auburn's going to be great. You're more talented than Kentucky. I don't know about Florida. We'll see. And you're certainly more talented than Ole Miss. Now you got to go to the road. But if you're going to have to play the West, and you're going to have to play Florida, and you're going to have to play a Power 5 opener, I think it sets up reasonably well. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely think they do a great job scheduling year in and year out. I still can't figure out how we always get that bye week before Bama, but we definitely need to keep that up. And, yeah, I think this first game is so important, man. I'm as much as I look at this schedule, I'm starting to realize how important this first – if you can start off, especially play well against UCLA, and really get off to a strong start, I think the schedule sets up perfectly for you to really have a season that you know the LSU Tigers can have. And that first big Florida game at home is going to be a big one. But I really think this UCLA game can really spring start us. And I don't know, man. I hate to pump this sunshine and rainbow again, but it could be a good season.
You do it every day. You don't hate any piece of it. You do it every day. All right, I'm really disappointed here. I apologize in advance. I am from North Louisiana, and at times I don't know how to say words. We do have a call. I appreciate Stuart calling. He's calling from, I'm going to give this a North Louisiana shot, Del Cambry? How'd I do?
Hunt.
Yes,
Hunt.
You're on the air. We got you. How'd I do on Del Cambry?
Well, that's Stuart from Delcom.
That's Shreveport on the air. Stuart, we appreciate you calling. What's up, man?
All right, Hunt. Only real question on the defense. Linebackers. I mean, if you chip, you're looking at the one weakness, the linebackers. We got one kid who last year, my Lord, I mean,
Damone Clark.
Oh. I mean, sometimes it's like he was like almost running the other way. I mean, like it was ridiculous. And then we got to walk on, you know. So. Do something to make me have confidence that these linebackers are going to be able to withstand this, because that's the weakness. That's all you go. You can't run against the middle. You can't mess with our ends. You can't run against our DBs. But I mean, you know, if you make us put 3 linebackers on the field, if you put 2 tight ends, make us put 3 linebackers on the field, we're in a world of trouble.
Stuart, I appreciate the call. I hope everything is well down in Delcom. Jeremy wants to take it, and I'm gonna jump in there as well, because it's a really good point.
Yeah, I think that's a great point about Damone Clark you made about last season, but I think the coaching staff did a great job in changing his position. He's going to be playing weak side linebacker. He's not going to be asked to do the things he was asked to do last season, which is take on guards and take on tackles and blow up run plays. He's going to be on the backside. He'll be able to shoot gaps like you saw Devin White do time and time again, and he's not going to be in the thick of the action. So I think that was a great job by the coaching staff, really moving him and really not putting him in harm's way and really letting him just play linebacker.
It's a good point. Linebacker play stunk last year. We all saw it. Here's what will make you feel better, hopefully. And I realize if I get on the postgame show after this game on Saturday and we've lost, I'll probably look at my guys and go, they didn't stop the run. And it was probably because the linebacker play wasn't good enough. Here's the deal. I think Damone's going to be out there, and we've seen him do it at this level at a really high level. And I think that Jared Small is probably going to be out there, but Micah Baskerville has done this last year. He did it pretty well. And if Small and Clark can't do it, they'll put Baskerville and Small. They'll put Baskerville and Strong in there, and Bug Strong in there, and those will be the next two guys up. They have 5 options here to put 2 guys on the field. 2 of them in Clark and in Baskerville have done it at this level. It's a question mark. I'll grant you that. But I think there's a chance that it all works out and it's okay. So, yeah, but I do think if I get on the postgame on Saturday and we've lost the game, I'll say, man, they got up there, they beat us to point of attack, and we didn't have linebackers on the second level that were making tackles. They were missing tackles and chasing from behind, which they were chasing from behind all year last year. That'll be it.
That'll definitely be it. And I think it starts with the D-line and D-tackle, setting those guys up and really making it tough for the offensive lineman. If the offensive lineman can't get up to the second level when they're running read option, it's going to get blown up play after play. You're leaving an unblocked guy on the backside, and then if the lineman can't get up to the next level, it's just not going to be anywhere to run the ball. So it's going to start with our veteran defensive line, and these linebackers are going to have a chance to prove themselves. It's really going to start this Saturday. I know Chip Kelly's going to want to run that ball, so they're going to have their hands full starting from the first snap.
499-9898 is the number to call. We appreciate Stuart dialing us up from Delcom. You got a call, give us a ring. We got 30 minutes here on the Tiger Zone, and we'd love to hear from you wherever you are in this great state of Louisiana or outside. We're looking for you in the 225 area code. We'll take a timeout. Come back with more Tiger Zone presented by LeBerge on Eagle 98.1.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back North Airway off of Airline Highway.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Probably not earning double miles on every purchase.
You're right. My card only gets extra miles on some types of purchases.
With the Capital One Venture Card, you earn unlimited double miles everywhere.
Wait, but where can we use them?
You can use Capital One Venture Miles on any travel purchase.
Venture gets an A+.
Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Eagle 98.1.
It's the Tiger Zone, Eagle 98.1, Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill with you every single Wednesday from 8 to 10, talking Tiger football, taking your phone calls. 499-98 is the number. I botched Delcom, but I can handle this next caller, his name and where he's calling from. John is in Baton Rouge. John, welcome in. What's up, man? Do we have John? We think we have John. John going once, going twice. John is sold. We'll try to hook back up. John, if you're still listening, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. 499-9898 is the number here on the Tiger Zone. Incidentally, I will be on the air 5:30 on the pregame show on the network before the 7:30 kickoff. You can catch us on the LSU Sports Radio Network. Coming to you from Cards and Culture on Saturday afternoon will be myself, Marlon Favorite, and Garrett Brumfield. So tune us in 5:30 for the game. I think we've got John now in Baton Rouge. John, welcome in. What can I do for you?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing this evening?
We're doing good.
Good. All right, man. I've been a Tiger fan for, going on 25 years. And the one thing that I know that I can remember, especially about the defensive side of the ball, is that we always played with an edge, and we always played with a sense of urgency. Last year, I didn't see any of that. I'm trying to ask if you guys have seen any of the scrimmages. Do we have that back? And number two, I've seen so many blown coverages last year. Hopefully we have to have that fixed, because all I remember in the Auburn game is people shrugging their shoulders with their hands up, you had that, or you should have had that, and it was all year virtually missed assignments. So I'm just trying to see if, have you seen any of that? Do you think we have that solved? And can we get that edge back on defense?
John, we appreciate the call. That's a lot to chew on, and I'm happy to do it. Jeremy, you can start.
Oh, yeah. I would say so. I think I'm right with you, just watching LSU throughout the years, watching LeBron Landry, watching some of these guys on defense. They've had mean intentions, and then when they got to the ball, they weren't happy when they got there. And that's kind of the defense that we're used to seeing. And obviously we just played Chinese Bandits coming into this break, and I think that's what we need to hear all year. We need to be putting teams in third and long time and time again. And they've had that swag. Now let's say is swag going to get them stops in the game Saturday? I wouldn't say, but they definitely have a different type of energy going into each practice. They know what they played like last year, and Coach Jones has definitely simplified the defenses. So I definitely would say we have a lot less blown coverages. Obviously, if you have Ricks and Stingley out there, that's going to stop it off the top. But I think this defense will definitely allow us to use our speed and our athleticism and go out there and play fast and with swag.
John, there's a lot of layers what happened last year. The start was not good. The coaching staff and the players fractured. And there was a sense in that locker room, in that football ops building, that there was a massive disconnect, and it never got repaired, and it was never going to get repaired. That's why O made the changes he did. So there was a disconnect right out of the gate between the players and the coaches. Then you had a defensive backfield room that was split between safeties and Bill Bush and corners with Corey Raymond. And I saw way too much of corners looking at safeties after big plays, turning around and holding their hands out like, who, what? So one, you got a group of guys that isn't fired up to be playing. And two, you've got guys that don't know where to be. And if you don't know where to be, you can't really play hard. You can't go fast if you don't know where you're going at all. And so there was a motivation problem, there's a communication problem, there was a logistics problem in the defensive room, and then some guys quit and didn't play at the end of the year, and you were out of personnel. It's a lot, but it all went wrong. And for Louisiana State University to have the most passing yards allowed in the country is more than one thing went wrong. It all went wrong. And yeah, Jeremy's been to practice. I've been to practice. There's a renewed sense of juice in there. Now that comes with your slate being scrubbed. You're not 3-5 going on 5-5 anymore. You're 0-0. That helps. But yeah, there was a lot going on there that was not good. And my sincere hope is that all that's been fixed. And all reports are that it has. Winning fixes a lot of things. They got to start doing that on Saturday. Brad's calling in from West Virginia. Brad, welcome in. We appreciate the call.
Hey, hon, how you doing?
Doing well.
I'm originally from Morgan City. I think you could have gotten that one, but
I could have gotten Morgan City.
West Virginia, anyway.
Morgantown, Morgan City. Well, either way.
No, yeah, Morgan City. I'm South Louisiana, but I moved away a while back. Quick question. Well, two questions. Who's looking like going to be the punt returner, kickoff returners, and have y'all had a chance to see how the new punter's been, looking in the scrimmages? And my third question would be, you guys post on Tiger droppings a lot?
All right, Brad, we'll get to all that.
That's a great
I'll start with the last one because I'm not bashful. I do have a Tiger Droppings username. I'm Hunt the Fan on there. I have I don't post every day. I post sporadically when something comes up that I feel like I can add to. I do spend some time on Tiger Droppings. I don't mind that. When something happens in the world of LSU, it gets there pretty quick. And so if you were looking for news and something to happen, I'm there. So I do show up. And I'll help with some of the special team stuff. We kicked this around last week. I'll start with the returners, and then we'll get to – well, no, I'll start with punter. I believe Avery Adkins is going to be the punter. Peyton Todd is the freshman. I think he's got a really bright future at LSU. I think to this point there's a little bit of inconsistency there. Would not shock me if he went out there and he was the punter. But Avery Adkins has tossed his hat in the ring since the spring, and I believe he's going to be the guy to go out there first. So we know he's got a big leg. I think he's going to be first. Jeremy, I'll let you talk returners, and I'll chime in as well. Start with kick return.
Yeah, I think Trey Palmer's going to be the first one back there on kick return. I think that's a great option. I also saw Corey Connor and Armani Goodwin. I know Armani Goodwin's out right now, but I've seen those guys. I know Hunt doesn't like seeing the running backs back there.
No, I like fast running backs back there. I don't like big physical running backs back there.
I got you. Yeah, so I think those will be the guys that go out of kick return, and then I think punt return is going to be similar. I think Trey's going to really be there, but I don't know if they trust him to catch some of the more trickier sky punts and stuff. So you're probably going to bring a more sure-handed guy, and I think Coy Moore may be one of those guys. And I think obviously Sting, I don't want to see him back there at all, but we all know he can return punts as well. So I think that's what the returners are looking like. If Hunt has anyone else, but I think those are pretty much the guys.
Confident Trey Palmer will be the first guy back on kickoffs. Punt returns, I think Kayshawn has a real chance to go back there. I wouldn't be surprised to see Coy Moore back there. I would not be surprised to see Stingley back there. I would be a little bit surprised to see Trey Palmer back there. I think they'd rather him catch it on a kickoff and try to come forward. But I think those are the guys that you've seen more of than not. I think Armani Goodwin would have tossed his hat in that ring on the kickoff side if he was available for the first few weeks, especially against Central Michigan and McNeese. You can get him out there, but I don't know that he's going to be out there. We'll see. Got a little bit of time, but he's a little bit banged up. So, yeah, that's stuff that has always been fascinating because covering the team as long as I did for I was going to practice for 8 years. I that's one thing you could not really get a gauge on was return game because we never got to saw it. Never got to see it. We have seen a little bit of that on the jugs machine and stuff. Done a little bit of feeling around, talking to people. I think I'm real comfortable saying Trey Palmer. I'm fairly confident giving you Kayshawn on punts. They want somebody back there that's going to catch it. So I think that's I'm pretty comfortable with that. Thanks, Brad from West Virginia, for giving us a call. 499-9898 is the number to call. We'll take a timeout here. We're going to come back and talk about the SEC. It's week 1. A lot of action. It starts tomorrow night. That's next on the Tiger Zone. Eagles 98.1.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Eagle 98.1.
The Become a My Choice new member over at LeBears. New members can sign up with an email and get $20 worth of free slot play, free bet, or food credit. You can visit the My Choice Center for details. LeBears, our presenting sponsor here on the Tiger Zone. Phone lines are still open. 499-9898 was the number to call. Darren's rung us up from Lake Charles. Darren, how are you?
Hey, fine, yeah. I was asking, was Mike Jones from the transport portal from Clemson supposed to be a linebacker?
Mm-hmm.
If he's there, then that's going to be a big help right there in the linebacker position for sure.
Yeah, he's a really talented guy who did a lot of really good things at Clemson. He did all of them outside the hash marks. He's been a guy who's covered receivers and slot guys. He's chased people down. He has not been a guy in his college career who has spent a lot of time between the tackles and had much success between the tackles. And then he's come out and said subsequently in interviews, I'm learning. That's why I came here. I want to do this, but it's tough, and I'm going to figure it out. I think this is early to toss him into the fire against a team that's going to be running the football a ton. But no question, he's going to help this team. I don't know how much on Saturday.
Exactly. I don't know. I didn't know how long it took him to adjust. I knew what type of player he was, and he was more of a cover guy.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I was wondering. But he is going to be a big help if he can adjust.
No doubt. You play teams like Mississippi State, they're going to throw it 60 times a game. I want that guy out there. You play a team like Ole Miss, it's going to sling it around. Alabama's got some speed on the edge. I think Mike Jones, there's certainly a spot on this team. I just think Saturday may not be it. Darren, we appreciate the call.
Yeah. Sure enough, man. Thanks a lot.
Have a good evening, Darren. We appreciate the phone call. 499-9898 is the number. All right, it's time now, as we'll do every week about this time, to take a look at the league. We're cranking things up in the SEC. So things start up tomorrow with Tennessee on a Thursday night. And we're going to bet this thing against the spread, keep some scores, and see how we handle things, Mr. Hill. Tennessee Vols host Bowling Green at 7 o'clock. They are a 34.5-point favorite against Bowling Green. What you got there?
I think Bowling Green covers. I think they cover that 34.5. I don't know by how much, but I'm going to roll Bowling Green here.
I think Josh Heupel's going to try to come in and go nuts and fire everybody up and score a ton of points. I don't love the quarterback situation there. They got Milton in from Michigan. He's going to be their quarterback, but I'm going to go with the Vols. I think they're going to try to cover. So I'm going to go with them to start things out. But we got a little phone call. Tyrone from Baton Rouge. What you got, Tyrone? We're good.
How y'all doing tonight?
Good.
Good. I want to ask a question. It's not particularly about this season. I'm curious to know, doesn't LSU have more national titles since the new millennium than any other team outside of Alabama?
You'd be correct with that assessment.
Well, LSU would have 3 there, and yes, that would be correct.
So they got more than Clemson, Ohio State, everybody except Alabama. And yet, I don't understand. If it wasn't for Alabama, wouldn't LSU be the ideal program to be like? I'm a Southern fan. I'm not saying this in defense of LSU. I mean, it's almost like, to me, you have a wonderful wife, but you're looking at your neighbor's wife because you think you can go one better. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, Tyrone.
I know what you're saying.
But
I got you.
It's not always just about Alabama. It's about going 5-5 this year. It's about Liberty Bowl berths with Leonard Fournette and losing to Wisconsin, and then Mississippi State running you off the field. There's other things that are relevant here. Of course, everybody's going to look at Alabama. That she's the belle of the ball, but there are other factors at bay. But I appreciate the thought.
Okay, man. I'm just saying. I think LSU's got a good program. They're not maybe the best program, but they compete every year. And last year, I mean, with the COVID and no people in the stands, I mean, just the kids going out there to play, showing up was, to me, an achievement. But y'all have a good night.
Tyrone, we appreciate the phone call. Thanks so much. I hope your family is well and staying safe. So let's dive back into SEC. We'll go through these quick. We got one more break before the end of the show. On Saturday, the morning slate, ULM is at Kentucky, 30.5, favored the Cats.
I think Kentucky covers. I think Kentucky routes them.
I got Kentucky too. I don't think ULM can stay on the field with them. Another morning game, Rice is at Arkansas. That's a 1 o'clock kickoff.
Oh, I want to say
19.5, the number there.
I think Rice covers. I'm gonna go Rice here.
No chance Arkansas is going to cover that number. That's just 3 touchdowns. They can do that. Alabama laying 18.5 against Miami in Atlanta. 2:30 kick on ABC.
My favorite thing to say every show, Stephen A's world. Alabama, baby. They're gonna rout. They're gonna rout.
We've seen this movie a million times. Virginia Tech, USC, anybody, Florida State, Michigan. Anybody who wants to go out there, they get their tails whipped. It's gonna be. You could lay the number at 30. I'd still take Alabama. Miami has no chance in that game. Louisiana Tech's at Mississippi State. 3:00 game on ESPN. Mississippi State laying 23 and a hook.
Give me La Tech here. I'm gonna roll with the underdogs. Give me La Tech.
Tech's not going to have a very good team this year. I think Mississippi State's going to chunk it around on them. I'll take the Mississippi State Bulldogs in that one. Let's go Central Michigan at Missouri. Mizzou laying 13.5 on the SEC Network.
Yeah, Mizzou will cover that at home in Central Michigan.
I agree, too. I'm kind of drinking Mizzou's Kool-Aid. It's probably biased because of what they did against LSU last year, but I'm drinking that just a little bit. Greg from Mississippi's on the phone line. Greg, what you got?
Hey, man, I'm glad you guys are on the air on the Tiger Zone. It's a tradition, me calling on Wednesday nights. I'm here in the casino in Vicksburg, and the power went out, but the kiosks are still up. Got to ask you guys about we got to love it, man. Got to ask you about this Ole Miss Louisville game Monday night. That number keeps going up. Rebels were about 9 points. Now, right here in the casino, now they're 11.5. I don't know. I'm feeling the Rebels winning, but I don't know if I'm drinking the Lane Kool-Aid so much. And then I'm going to ask you guys, I agree with you guys, your analyst just said the 23.5 with Tech. I mean, that game was 29.5 just a month ago, and now it's went down almost a touchdown in about a month. Something's fishy on that one. I want to get y'all's take on it, and I think UCLA take care of the business. We love you guys. Y'all have a good show.
Greg, we appreciate it. You said you were in Vicksburg. You're asking why the Ole Miss number's going up. It's because you got Ole Miss people playing the number in Vicksburg. So we'll get to that. Take one more timeout and get back to the rest of the SEC slate. This is the Tiger Zone presented by LeBerge on Eagle 98.1.
For over 14 years, Audi of Baton Rouge on Airline Highway has provided buyers with both an unparalleled buying and ownership experience. Every day, their goal is to create customers for life. How do they do that? By offering the best product, the best buying experience, the best ownership experience, and the best ownership value, as well as innovative services like Audi at your door or the Summer of Audi sales event going on now. Find out more at Audi of Baton Rouge, 11955 Airline Highway or AudiBatonRouge.com.
We've missed you. We know it's been tough. Because rebuilding your business isn't for the faint of heart. Your business needs a jump start. And we're here to help. Introducing Surge, symmetrical speed fiber internet from eTel Business. Revved up data speeds at 30% off, plus 3 months free. We're glad you're back, and we're here to make your business surge.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Eagle 98.1.
Everybody out! Team on one! One! Side, out of the I formation, Mettenberger to the hill again, and he's got the 5, and he is in the end zone, is he? Yes, touchdown! Wow, what a drive to start the second half for LSU.
Let's move it quick. Akron at Auburn on the Plains. It's a 6 o'clock SEC Network Plus game. Auburn laying 36.5.
Yeah, I think Auburn routes some big speed runs for 200. I think they cover that.
I got the Zips of Akron. I can't even find a line for South Carolina and Eastern Illinois. And that's probably because the assistant coach is playing quarterback for South Carolina. That's off the board. We're not playing that one. The big one of the week, Georgia and Clemson. Clemson laying 3.5 in Charlotte on ABC.
I take Clemson. I think Clemson covers.
I like the points here. I think the teams are really close. I'll take the 3.5 and just see where the chips fall. If I can get within a field goal with Georgia, I'll cover that one. We'll take it. Florida Atlantic is at Florida in the Swamp. That's a 6:30 p.m. game. SEC Network, 24.5 is the number.
I'm taking Emory all day, baby. Give me Florida. They cover.
I will take the Gators as well. In that one, Kent State's at Texas A&M, 29.5 the number. That's a 7 o'clock kick on ESPN.
They should bump that up to 40. They're going to route them. That's going to be a route.
I think A&M's defense really comes to play on Kent State, the Fighting Nick Sabans, and I think that they struggle to score, and A&M will do plenty. I couldn't find a line for East Tennessee State and Vanderbilt. I just think Vegas doesn't care. I looked at 3 different sites, and I couldn't find anything. I don't know what the reason for that is. If you can't watch it on cable, it's on SEC Network Plus, and that's because Vanderbilt probably shouldn't be a part of the league. So we go to Monday's affair. That's Labor Day night. Louisville against Ole Miss in the ATL. Rebs, where I've got it, laying 9.5.
Give me Lane Kiffin, man. Lane's going to start the year off on fire. Give me the Rebels.
It really is just a thing where it's like I just think they're going to go nuts and score 1 million. That was for just to be a statement to make everybody happy. They're not going to less it.
No, not at all.
And Saban at times has tried to pull off the gas. Sometimes he can't. His player's too much better. But I think Lane, if he's got a chance to punch in a couple in the fourth quarter against Louisville, who cares? He's going to do it. So we'll both take the Rebs there and lay the 9.5 on the number. You can find the two of us every single weekday on 104.5 ESPN noon to 2. It is Hunt and Hill. We'll be back in action tomorrow. The Throwback Thursday fired up to get that thing cranked up, and we'll have hopefully a guest who played in the game that we're throwing it back to. Jeremy and I are both involved in some Saturday shenanigans. I'm on the pregame show and the postgame show for the LSU Sports Radio Network. You can catch us 5:30. LSU plays at 7:30 against UCLA. I'll close these things off tonight. We'll get into it on the Daily Show. But how do you see the game going on Saturday for the Tigers?
I think we win by double digits. I think we win by 2 scores. I'm very confident in the matchups. Not pumping sunshine and rainbow hairs. I'm just looking at the matchups, looking at receiver DBs, looking at running back linebackers, looking at O-line, D-line. I think we match up well with them. So I go Tigers by 2 scores.
I feel kind of the same way. Right now, I've got some more research to do, some more digging, but at this point, I just think LSU's better, and I didn't see anything against Hawaii that leads me to believe otherwise. So certainly LSU's going to have to go out there and prove it. Didn't do it last year, but we certainly hope that they can. Hopefully, we've been 2 hours away from whatever's going on in your world here in South Louisiana. The recovery effort is underway, and we know things are getting better day by day for those that are lending their time, lending their money, lending their skills to help this state get back on track. We really, really appreciate you. Tigers going to get on the field on Saturday, and we're all looking very much forward to that. So thanks so much to Jeremy Hill. Appreciate our production staff making it all work. That's Mike Patel and Taylor Sharp. Thank you. We'll be back next week and every Wednesday from 8 to 10 after the Ed Ogeron Show. This is the Tiger Zone presented